your parents have all these, dreams and thoughts of what they want their kids to be. Everybody wants their kid to be an astronaut or, go to the moon. Others, they want them to be presidents or athletic stars. But my parents realized that it's not impossible. And they had to realize other dreams for me.
The moment we found out about Gregory's diagnosis was it was tragic. It was like grief. We lost him right there. It was like the world coming to an end. You have your first little child, and the diagnosis is he's going to die.
And he told us what the diagnosis was, and I said, well, what kind of treatments? And he said, well, there's things we can do to help you, but there is no treatment. It's never going to get better. It's going to get worse. And he told us that at that particular point in time, the life expectancy was mid to early teens. And when my wife came home from work, we just sat there and cried.
But when they first found out that he had Duchenne muscular dystrophy, it was devastating. But then they decided, this is our life, we're going to embrace it, and we're going to live every moment to the fullest, and love Gregory just as much as we would love any other human being. And from their decision to do that, we always just saw Greg as our brother.
Muscular dystrophy is something that every day you lose a part of you. It's a loss situation, I think, in your physical being. But his mental image was always a positive and go forward.
People are living into their mid to late 20s now with the disease and being able to progress much further and do a lot more things because of so many of the changes they've made, whether it's in different drug therapies, different treatments, breathing devices.
Dr. Day said once, all of the treatments and the techniques that have lifted so much of the burden of this disease is changed just in the 8 years since Gregory has died. And it makes us so happy with our fundraising that we have helped in that, to bring in the doctors and researchers and investigators to help that cause.
It's something inside of you, and it's that understanding that there's still a need, and there's still that reason to have belief in something more than what we have now.
There is still a tremendous amount of research that needs to be done. It takes a lot of money. Just some of the microscopes that they need to use are $40,000 and $50,000 or $100,000 instruments. Someday some of these things will actually, not be needed anymore, but we're years away from that, but we're making huge strides.
We need it now. We need it now more than ever before. If you see a person with ALS, that suffering is terrible, absolutely terrible. We need the treatments, we need the cure now, and I think we can have it.
Because of how close our family really has always been and still is, I think Greg would say, do it for all the other families. Do it for all the other people who, the other parents, the other siblings, the other kids with the diseases, those people who really do need the funds for this research.
Working in these clinics has its up days and its down days. Seeing a new family or a new individual and telling them that they suffer from ALS or muscular dystrophy or Parkinson's disease or one of the very debilitating forms of ataxia is very depressing and disheartening to families and individuals alike. I think that one of the goals of the university is to marshal the resources to bring these things together so that we can allow these people to join with us to help in fighting these diseases so that we can finally bring these diseases under control.
He was my big brother. He was my bully. He was my mentor. He was my confidant. And he really inspired me to be someone better, but not because of his disability or not because he was in a wheelchair, but rather because he was my brother.
Every moment we spent with Gregory was wonderful, and because of him, I really think we're helping other people.